Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate.
Have you ever felt that sudden surge of anger, that irrational urge to lash out, or perhaps a deep, unexplained feeling of greed that you try to suppress? Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts to be good, there's a part of you that seems to control your actions in ways you can't explain? It's almost as if there's a dark side of you, hidden, buried deep within, that seems to rise up when you least expect it. This isn't something new. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, called it the shadow self. It's the part of you that you repress, the side of your personality that you refuse to acknowledge. And while you may try to hide it, it doesn't stay hidden for long. The truth is, your shadow is not just a collection of your negative traits. It's a force that controls your life from the shadows, dictating your actions unconsciously. It's the reason why, even when you think you're being the best version of yourself, you find yourself snapping, acting impulsively, or indulging in desires that feel out of place. The shadow is always lurking, waiting for the moment to take control. So why is it that the nice, calm, collected person often snaps violently? Why do those who appear the most together find themselves overwhelmed by their own emotions, their hidden desires, or even their darkest impulses? It's because we all have a shadow, an unconscious part of ourselves that we push away but cannot fully escape. What you may not realize is that your shadow isn't something evil or inherently bad. It's simply the part of you that holds everything you've denied, rejected, or failed to integrate: anger, lust, greed, jealousy, and even the darker desires that society tells you are unacceptable. And when you refuse to confront it, that hidden darkness begins to rule you from the inside. Now, think about the times you've felt overwhelmed with emotions, feelings of powerlessness, or even a strange desire to lash out. That's your shadow self making itself known. It's not just a temporary lapse in judgment. It's the result of years of repression, of refusing to acknowledge the parts of yourself that you deem bad or unacceptable. But here's the real question. What if you could master your shadow instead of being enslaved by it? What if you could bring that hidden side of you into the light, integrate it, and harness its power for your own growth? What if, instead of running from your darkness, you learned to use it? Carl Jung believed that the path to true self-mastery begins with acknowledging and integrating your shadow. He said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." In other words, true power doesn't come from denying your dark side. It comes from understanding it, accepting it, and using it as a source of strength. When you learn to embrace your shadow, when you face the parts of yourself that you feared or rejected, you begin to unlock a deeper level of awareness. You stop being at the mercy of unconscious impulses, and instead, you start choosing your responses consciously. You start to understand why you react the way you do, and you begin to reclaim the power that was once buried inside. The reason why nice people often snap violently isn't because they're inherently bad. It's because they've spent so much time repressing their darkness that when it finally surfaces, it's explosive. But if you learn to recognize and integrate that anger, that lust, that greed, rather than pretending it doesn't exist, your darkness no longer controls you. It becomes part of your whole integrated self, and you gain control over it. So, I ask you now, are you ready to face your shadow? Are you willing to step into the darkness, to confront the parts of yourself that you've ignored, rejected, or buried deep within? It's not an easy path, but it's the only one that leads to true self-mastery. When you stop running from your darkness, you stop being its victim. You begin to wield its power with wisdom and intention, the hidden forces behind your actions. Why do we often find ourselves reacting so impulsively? Why does our anger, jealousy, or even lust seem to take over at the most inopportune times? The truth is, these emotions aren't just random. They are expressions of our shadow. They are hidden parts of ourselves that we've been conditioned to reject. But they don't go away. They wait in the background, only to erupt when we least expect it. Consider the times when you felt anger rising unexpectedly. Maybe it was a comment someone made, a look they gave you, or a situation that caught you off guard. Instead of pausing and reflecting, you probably reacted instantly. And afterward, you may have asked yourself, why did I do that? That's your shadow at work. It's the part of you that was once a defense mechanism, something you built to protect yourself from pain or rejection. But when you ignore it, repress it, and pretend it's not there, it grows stronger. It builds up over time, like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. It's important to realize that when you act from the shadow, you are not consciously choosing your behavior. You are reacting from a place of unconscious conditioning, from fears, wounds, and unresolved trauma. And as long as you continue to suppress your shadow, you remain at the mercy of your own emotional impulses. But when you begin to acknowledge it, you gain the ability to control it, rather than letting it control you. Why silence is key to mastering your shadow. So, what does mastering your shadow look like? It's not about rejecting it or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about creating space for it, accepting it, and learning from it. Silence plays a crucial role in this process. In moments of emotional upheaval, silence is the key to finding clarity. Instead of immediately reacting or justifying yourself, give yourself the space to pause, reflect, feel. Carl Jung often emphasized the importance of conscious reflection. He believed that true self-awareness comes from within. The more you can sit with your emotions without immediately acting on them, the more control you will have over them. And in that space of silence, you will begin to uncover the root of your emotions. Whether it's a past trauma, a suppressed fear, or an unmet need, the act of silence is not passive. It is an active engagement with your own inner world. It is the moment when you consciously choose to pause before reacting, when you take a deep breath and give yourself time to understand your feelings. Silence is the tool that allows you to separate yourself from your unconscious reactions and connect with your true self. The role of the shadow in your relationships. Now, let's talk about how the shadow impacts your relationships. How many times have you found yourself in conflict with others, only to later realize that the issue wasn't really about them? It was about something within you that you hadn't yet integrated. When you react from your shadow, you bring your unconscious beliefs, fears, and desires into your relationships. You may act out of jealousy, anger, or insecurity, emotions that arise from your unacknowledged shadow. These emotional outbursts are often triggered by others, but the root cause lies within you. This is why mastering your shadow is so crucial in your relationships. When you understand and integrate your shadow, you stop projecting your insecurities onto others. Instead, you engage with them from a place of self-awareness and emotional control. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding consciously, taking responsibility for your shadow. The most powerful step in mastering your shadow is taking full responsibility for it. This means acknowledging the parts of you that you've denied, rejected, or ignored. It means facing your own anger, jealousy, greed, and fear without judgment. By doing so, you reclaim your power. When you take responsibility for your shadow, you stop blaming others for your emotions. You understand that no one can make you feel anything unless you give them permission to. You become the master of your emotions, not the slave. The path to integration. The path to integrating your shadow is not easy. It requires courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to face your deepest fears and desires. But it's the only way to achieve true emotional freedom. By confronting your darkness, you not only gain control over it, but also unlock a greater sense of peace, strength, and authenticity. Remember, as Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Your shadow is not an enemy to fight, but a part of you to embrace. Only by doing so will you uncover your true potential and live a life of emotional sovereignty. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to stop hiding from your shadow and start integrating it, hit the subscribe button. This journey of self-mastery is just beginning, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. In the next video, we'll dive even deeper into how to embrace your shadow and use it as a source of personal power. Don't miss it, because your transformation begins the moment you choose to face your darkest side.